Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can. All right, perfect. Okay, strangely, I still hear music. Okay, here we go. I figured it out. Okay, we're here. We're doing this. I'm out of focus. How's everybody doing? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me fine, if you can see me fine. I'm going to stop share my screen as well. We have a very exciting session for you today. We're going to have Xavier with us, Xavier Mortimer, and he's calling in from Dubai. So we're still waiting for him. He's a very busy guy. He's a magician. He's a headliner in Las Vegas, and he's got a show over in Dubai. So we're going to spend an hour with him right now. But before we do, I wanted to introduce a little bit the topic because YouTube really changed my life as well, and that's the topic today. So when I started with YouTube, that was like long time ago, but in 2016, I started This Guy Edits, and it really transformed my job as an editor in a way. Like I became a better editor because I was able to talk about the craft and reflect on it. But it also opened up so many opportunities for me in terms of the community and everything. Like suddenly people knew me, even like invited me to speak at panels and so on. So it was very, like for me, it was a very interesting experience because yes, I'm a working filmmaker and I'm connecting with the directors that I work with and maybe some editors, but ultimately by just telling my story on YouTube, I was able to connect with an audience on all kinds of levels. And I really want to, like whenever I go to a film school and do like a guest panel or I'm a speaker, I always ask the students, do you have a YouTube channel? And most of them don't. And I think it's such a missed opportunity in the sense of working on your craft and finding your audience without a middleman. And if you think about YouTube in comparison to all the other platforms that are out there, it is it is kind of very unique in the sense that you have that direct connection with an audience. Yes, TikTok and so on and so forth, you do as well, but not in that sort of really high engaged form. And Netflix, for example, is not worried about HBO Max or Hulu or Prime or whatever. They're worried about YouTube because YouTube creates content that is being massively watched. They're actually the leader in streaming, the number one streamer, YouTube is. And they don't spend any money on programming. They just sort of build a platform and figured out a way how to connect an audience with creators. And so today we're going to be talking about all of that. And I also wanted to introduce you to Aaron, who works with me. He's a partner when it comes to all This Guy Edits content creation education. So whenever we talk about YouTube, when we want to like share with you why YouTube makes sense, Aaron kind of spearheads all that. There's something we want to present to you at the end of this course. But first of all, I want to introduce Aaron. Aaron, can you hear me? And let me know if I can hear you as
Hello,
well. Hello,
hello.
hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Hey,
Oh, amazing.
everybody. Super excited for this session. Thank you so much, Sven. And yeah, I agree with everything you said. This is such a valuable topic to everyone here today. I'm super excited to see what you guys can learn from it.
Yes, and Aaron, we met through NAS Daily or NAS.io. And then I sort of said, hey, why don't you want to work for me? So can you tell a little bit about sort of how we sort of got started and what we kind of just hint at what we're working at?
All right. I mean, without giving too much away, then, sure. Basically, the idea stemmed from, well, we met, as Sven said, through NAS Academy. We created something that was along the lines of what Sven hinted at now, content creation, that kind of thing, and how it can. I don't want to give too much away. It's gonna, let's say, the benefits it can bring to your career, to your life as a professional in this industry. And It's really so fitting in this case, because all of you are artists, you're technical experts, and you have the skill, right? You have a skill, you have ambition, you have desire, and what's missing is getting it out there, putting yourself out there. Traditionally, what happens is we set ourselves up and then we wait. We wait for an opportunity to come by, or we apply and then we wait for results. The dynamic has changed now. You don't have to do that anymore, right? There's a lot more variables that are in your control. There's a lot of things you can move around now, and set yourself up for that kind of success. And that's basically what we're doing, and we're going to be talking about today. And you're going to be hearing it from someone that's done the exact same thing in their career. Is he in yet? I'm just trying to double check, Sven. Um,
Yeah, go ahead. You should be able to search. I just heard that some people have problems getting into the room. So let me just
I believe so.
check something on the main page and make sure everything is working well. Should be open. It looks like the main room is open. So if you're using the direct link, it's working. And this is maybe why we had a little bit of a slow start here today. Okay, but a lot of people got in through the direct link. It's definitely working right now. And so we're good on that end. Let me search for Xavier and see if I don't see him yet.
Think he's saying registration pending approval. Is there any way we can manually let him in?
Yeah, if he uses the direct link, then he should be good to go. So let me send you that one again. I sent it to you before.
In the meantime, I'm going to quickly ask the room, has anyone here dabbled in content creation at all? Has anyone started a YouTube channel or any other platform? Have you ever done anything of the sort? Be interesting to see. Okay, we see a few yeses here. Okay, that's nice. Not yet, but thinking about it. I think not yet, but thinking about it, Lisa, is like the response you'd get from most people. I think I'm at that point too. Not yet, but thinking about it because I'm so busy helping other people do it. So it's a good place to be, but it takes only a tiny little step to make the jump, and actually get started. No, YouTube since 2016. Amazing. Yes, I did comedy, music, and films. Very minimal. Posted two shorts, a documentary next. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, nice. A lot of you are already on board with the idea. You have some exposure, so you're gonna find this pretty exciting. Okay.
Rob runs a
We
weekly live stream.
yeah.
What is it about? Oh, over analyzing movies with a friend of mine. Over analyzing. Okay, what was the latest movie you over analyzed? So, Aaron, I gave Asteroid City. Cool. Aaron, I gave you the direct link. That should definitely work. The main stage is open as well. We should be good to
Yeah.
go. People are filling up. We're also today on YouTube. We just sort of last minute decided
Yes.
we're just gonna make it live all the way. And so we might have people on YouTube joining us as well. Aaron, you're monitoring the YouTube chat as well.
Correct.
I can't see.
There's a lot of things we have to look at the same time. We're doing it. Okay, perfect. We have our special guest in the room as well.
Oh,
I see
perfect.
him. Okay,
All right,
cool.
Xavier, I'm gonna make you a co-host as well, just in case you want to share anything. Um, you're more than welcome to like screen sharing and all that stuff. All righty, so
Good to go?
yeah, we'll see him. I see him. I pinned him.
Okay, amazing. In that case, everybody, without further ado, allow me to introduce to you one of the greatest artists I've ever met, multi-talented. He is obviously a master magician. I think he's even a musician, and he is a viral social media sensation. Xavier Mortimer!
Yay!
Welcome,
Welcome.
Xavier.
Nice to meet you.
Are you able to unmute? How are you doing, Xavier? How's it going?
Hi, good, good. How are you?
Amazing. We're excited to be here. I just asked the room if anyone had, dabbled in content creation, YouTube, and quite a few people said yes. So I think they're gonna find this very interesting. everything that you have to share with us today. Okay, guys, this is going to be very casual. It's going to be Q&A style. We're going to interview Xavier here, and what he's going to talk about is just to set the context for you guys. A lot of you are in the filmmaking, industry. You're editors, you're filmmakers, and you might be wondering why a magician's going to be talking to you today. The reason is really quite simple. You're all artists. You're all in the creative industry. And Xavier he could have been a drop in the ocean. He could have been one in millions, but he isn't. Today, he's got 25 million followers across social media platforms. And as a result, there's so many opportunities that have opened up in his career. And I'm sure you can see how the message could possibly apply to you as well. And that's really what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, Xavier, I know I touched on it a little bit, but we'd love for you to introduce yourself in your own words. Who is Xavier Mortimer today?
Hey, my name is Xavier, and I'm a magician, like you said. I started magic when I was 10 years old. I performed live my entire career, basically, until the pandemic hit. I was forced to do something else, and I started to post videos on TikTok and Instagram. And some of them took off, some of them went viral, and I decided to keep going and keep like pushing and developing what I had started to create. And here I am. It changed my life. So yeah, this this is it. So I'm still performing live. I'm actually at the theater right now. I'm going to perform tomorrow, and but at the same time, I'm doing a lot of content creation.
It would be amazing. I want to quickly touch on that passion of yours. You said you've been interested in magic since you were a kid. You've been performing all your life. How did you discover your passion for magic? Like I said, for some people here, it's filmmaking, it's editing, it could be something else. In your case, it's magic. How did you discover that?
I mean, I saw a magician like, every kid, and I looked everywhere where I could find things that could help me learn the craft. I got a book. There was no internet at the time, so I had to like learn in books. Um, I I learned that, and it worked for me. I just kept going, and I loved many things when I was a kid, and this one was like, okay, I can keep doing it, and people love it. So
Yeah. Nice. I mean, that's how it is with most things, right? It's like it starts with
yeah, of
interest, you
course.
test the waters, and people like it, and it's like, okay, I guess this is me now. Okay, amazing. But now, the important question here. It's easy to get started with something, and I can imagine there's a lot of people out there that saw a magician perform and thought, oh, I want to be a magician. It takes
Yeah.
a very different level of, I don't, dedication and commitment, and I don't know how many ups and downs to go from starting to becoming a master of your craft. What was that like? How long did that even take?
But you're never really a master at anything, you just keep learning and learning all your life. I've been learning many things, and actually being on social media and changing the way of seeing what I was doing is another thing that I had to learn, and that made me even better at what I was good at. So like, yeah, changing the pace, changing the game, changing the way of presenting my work made me find different things and be more creative. So it's always a learning process. I've been on TV, I've been on live performance, and now social media, and it's all different things that you have to like reinvent every time.
Absolutely. Love that. I love how, you're saying watching yourself helped you identify things that you could change and improve. In your opinion, are there any benefits to someone learning magic? Like the average person, someone watching this right now, is there reasons I would want to learn magic?
Well, you can impress your friends at a party, that's for sure. But other than that, yeah, there's always learning something new is always good, because you approach the world in a different way, and
Yeah.
you learn different things and different way of seeing things. And magic has a lot of approach about like timing and misdirection and comedy and everything. So yeah, you can take everything from that, and you can also bring your deck of cards and have fun with your friends at a party.
See, I worked with you before and I've seen you teach magic, and I see that it has, to some extent, it's like learning a martial art almost, you know, it teaches you discipline. It teaches you, like you said, to control yourself both mentally and physically. And it's kind of like learning a language or learning chess,
Yeah.
except if you're at a party and you just go, hey guys, here's my chessboard. I'm going to show you something really cool. You'll probably be left with no friends. But if you do a magic trick, you know, you're automatically the coolest guy in the room there. I'm gonna very quickly show people a snippet of Xavier's magic course, which is very cool in my opinion. We're just gonna show it to you guys. It's a bit of a diverge, but really quick. Can you all see my screen? 1 second. Yes or no?
Yes, we see your screen.
And
And
what do you see on it? Do you see a video?
we do. Did you also make sure you shared the audio?
I believe so. I mean, we'll see in a second.
Okay.
Do we hear anything?
It's not playing yet.
Okay, 1 sec. We're gonna stop very quickly. We're gonna start again very quickly. We're gonna make sure we're sharing sound.
And
Okay.
then optimize for video is also another function.
Second, we're doing all of that. We're doing optimize for video and we're sharing sound. Okay, cool. Amazing. Cool. Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Xavier Mortimer.
Xavier Mortimer is the man.
To me, magic is not just a simple illusion. It's always about telling a story. When you think about it, magical performances are much like dreams. They don't quite make sense when you're watching them happen. And they always leave you wanting to know more.
Oh my God!
They bring you out of this world into the extraordinary, into a place where the possibilities seem endless.
Today I want to show you how a magician jumps rope. That's amazing.
But how do you pull off the extraordinary and bring the audience with you in your own world? Well, I'm going to show it to you right now. My name is Xavier Mortimer. I'm a magician, illusionist, former Cirque du Soleil performer, and storyteller. I'm finally pulling back the curtain and teaching everything that I know about the art of magic. I will teach you the basics of magic tricks, how to perform them on and off camera, how to tell a story with your performance, and how to keep the magic alive for everybody you share it with. How did you do that? Sign up for the Xavier Mortimer Academy today, because life
Life is always better with a little bit of magic, he says at the end. He's absolutely incredible. I mean, if anyone is interested, this is just a little side note. If you are interested in checking it out, I'll drop a link in the chat. It's actually a very, very affordable course. The course cost $15, and I think Xavier's giving it away for 10 as long as you use the code LAUNCH. So, I mean, it's just something on the side if you're interested. I've always been a fan of magic, so for me, it's fascinating. Spoiler alert, you're not going to learn to levitate 50 feet in the air. That's a little bit for the masters of their craft, but you do learn some pretty cool stuff. But anyway, moving on, Xavier Mortimer. At what point did you decide to approach content creation? You mentioned it was at the pandemic. There was a lot of people that slowed down during the pandemic, but what exactly made you want to do it? How did you get started?
Well, when the theaters closed, all the opportunities and all that you had like been building in your life just stopped, and there was no other things than just filming videos on social media. And social media was actually booming at the time, and it became what it became now, which is the main place to showcase your talent. So I discovered that, and I was like, yeah, I always wanted to have a TV show. And that's how you have your TV show. This is your resume, basically. This is where you can show everything. And if someone wants to hire you, say, hey, I got this here. So I've been working hard to make it work on social media for that reason too.
That's amazing. I think that's so relatable to a lot of people here because You talked about having your own show. It's very similar to maybe editing your own movie or documentary, that kind of thing. You have ambitions to do that kind of thing. And there's normally so many barriers to that happening. You need to first have the skill set, you need to build that portfolio, you need to get those connections, and then you need to wait for the right opportunity. But in your case, you kind of created all of that yourself because that's really what social media is. You can self-publish today. You don't have to
Yeah.
wait anymore. And like you said, the bonus is you could still get those opportunities because now people can actually see you. So it's a win-win because you can do it yourself and people recognize you for what you're doing and give you more
Yeah.
opportunities. Okay. Now you started on social media. Again, a lot of people start. You went viral. You went viral more than once. What was that like? When did that happen? Could you walk us through it?
Yeah, the first video that went viral got like 3 million views in like a couple days, I guess. And I'd never had something like that. So it's like, wow, you know, incredible. And now it's more common, but at the time was like, no one had that, you know. So I didn't know. I just published my things, and one day one video hit, and then you analyze why. Why would people watch that more than other things that I thought people would watch? Because first you publish your things and you have like 100 views, and you say, oh, people don't understand what I do, or maybe the audience doesn't like is relate to what I
Yeah.
do. I mean, and the reality is, whenever you find that thing, you realize like what people want to see, what they want to watch is the same for everything that you put online. And I realized, okay, why not try the same formula that I had on this one on something else? So I found some elements that I thought were working, and I put them onto the next video and the next video and the next video, and I improved, and at the end you just think like that. So your brain is rewired to like, okay, so I know this is gonna get viral. Viral is not like a luck. It's just it's a job. You know, it's like, you know, I know a video that have the potential to get viral. Most of the time, of course, you I would say 90% of the time you can tell, but there's always like a failure. You
Yeah.
can always fail. But get, because you know how to start and how to end and what to tell and how to tell it. So it's a new media, and we have to learn it because this is the future, I believe. And the people who understand that media today are going to be the people who are going to be at the top tomorrow, I think.
Oof, wow, that's powerful right there. I love what you said about, you know, how it's not luck. A lot of people treat it like some sort of slot machine, some sort of casino. I put 10 things out, hopefully one goes viral. There's really a lot that is in your control. Also, the word viral has it starts to have this negative connotation because you end up with people chasing views, chasing popularity, and it becomes this exhausting cycle of just trying to get famous. But that's really not what it is. Viral is just, it's all about you have a product or you have a piece of content, and there is an audience for it out there. You know this for a fact. It's just
Mm.
trying to check as many boxes as you can to try to reach as many of those people as possible. They're already out there waiting to see it. You just want to try and make sure it gets to them. Also, it's very easy to, I think, to achieve a minimum level of virality. It's the maximum that you can't control, right? You can't say this video is going to get 500 million views. And I know that sounds like a crazy number, guys, but Xavier does have 500 million views on a video, by the way. That's 500 million. So that's not something, yes, you set out to achieve. It's something that if it happens, wonderful. But as far as the minimum level of success goes, there's a lot you can do to control it. Um, Xavier, important question. Now you've been doing this for a few years. It's undoubtedly played an important part in your career, but I'd like you to imagine yourself without content creation. So go back to the pandemic and assume you didn't take this path. Do you think there's some opportunities you would have missed out on? How different would your life or career have been today without content creation?
Uh, the no, I built my career around live shows, so I was doing okay. You know, it was whatever the opportunities arise, you take them. You know, I just jumped into that thing because it was fun, because it was It was a new thing to discover, to like look for the elements that are going to make it work, and it worked. And this is kind of a game, you know, somehow. You do it because you want to make it out there, and it works. So yeah.
I love that you treat it like a game and you think about it like a game, because I think that's why you're still enjoying it so much. A mistake a lot of people make, I think, is going into it and being too calculative and having very specific goals. That's what it should be, content creation. It's just you continuing to do what you love and just putting it out there for the world to see, right? Whether it's magic tricks or whether it is creating a film, for example. How do you balance your creativity and the algorithm? Like you said, you now start to understand some things that work on social media. You've started to understand what doesn't work on social media. But then again, you also, when it comes to being a magician, you just have a desire to do something. How do you balance that? Do they ever conflict with each other?
Well, the algorithm is people. So if you put something out there and people decide to watch it, that's there's a reason. It's because they relate to it. They want to watch. They're curious about what you're like doing. It's new. It's different. There's many reasons why they would want to see it. And obviously, when you are an artist and you do whatever it is, magic, dance, or editing, or whatever, you find those little keys, those little moments that are going to say, oh, this is how the people are going to watch what I want to say. So instead of starting in a certain way, you're going to start in a different way, and this is going to make your magic trick, in my case, more appealing. You know, if I was starting saying, for example, it's a very like, if I said, hey guys, I'm Xavier Mortimer, I'm going to show you a snake, a scarf turning into a snake. And now no one's going to watch that. I'm over, because no one cares about my name. No one cares about like me speaking. They want to see the action. They want to see, okay, what do you have to say? There's like 10,000 creators like on my feed that wait to be seen. Why would I watch you, you know? So instead of that, I pull the scarf and I turn it into a snake directly. And at the end, you have the the whole thing. And I cut the video before people get bored. That doesn't change my art, the magic trick that I'm showing or anything. I just adapt it to the algorithm, which would be a different way if I was on TV, for example, or working for a theater or a movie. I would present it in a different way. But for social media, there's just a way to present it. The art doesn't change.
Have to
It's just
suffer,
a presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's such an important understanding to have, and it sounds obvious when you say it, but there's so many people that start on like YouTube, for example, and do not achieve the kind of success they hoped because they don't understand that you need to adapt. It's yes, it's you're doing your stuff and you're putting it out there, but depends on what your priorities are. If your priority is that someone actually sees it, then you do need to package it in a way that, you know, they're gonna want to see it. So 100%, that makes a lot of sense. I want to
And
ask you
also,
about something. Yeah, go ahead.
it's very important that, well, I don't do magic for myself. If I do magic for myself, I'll do it in my room in front of my mirror, right? So I do it for an audience. And if the audience doesn't watch it, it's not because they're dumb or they don't understand you. It's because maybe you have to change something. And I believe you have to change it until, you know, it works. It's like a car. When you build a car, it's not going to work the first time. So you have to figure out like how to make it, you know, and it's the same for magic online or whatever you do.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, 100%. I want to ask you about something that it matters a lot to you. It matters a lot to Sven here as well. Something that is a very crucial part of storytelling, but it's not always so I'm sorry, I gave it away. I wanted to say it's a very crucial part of content creation, but it's not usually a crucial part of magic, storytelling. You are big on storytelling, Xavier. I want to ask you why? And how much that means to you, and whether that has helped you both in terms of your magic of life as well as your social media.
Yeah, definitely. Like, storytelling is stronger than magic. Storytelling is actually stronger than anything, I guess. I'm actually like looking for ways to edit my videos better so they tell a story that's going to be relevant and understandable by people. And it's funny because I I saw actually I was at the convention with YouTube, and there was like editors that were explaining how you could have a moment where people are going to laugh and cry, and you have to have that in the same video. It's built like a movie, you know. It's like a technique, and I mean, I'm sure you guys are more advanced than me on that subject. But when you do magic, you have to find those moments. When you do the short videos, like on Instagram and TikTok and everything, it's more easy. You kind of build around the situation, say, oh, I have this idea, I'm gonna do this, and this is how I'm gonna start, and this is how I'm going to end. So it's easier. But when you do a long form video and you have like actual editing involved, you have to keep the people into your story.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's super. Editing is very important for that reason, and storytelling is the base of editing. If you make people like feel emotions and stuff, yeah, that's the
Absolutely.
goal.
That's something I
Because
only
people don't care
realized.
really about magic.
If I may add here, we had a guest over talking about Ted Lasso and the editing of Ted Lasso, and actually the showrunner of that show calls editing movie magic. Like, let's make magic happen in the editing room. So I see there as a parallel in terms of the storytelling, that like when you make a magic trick, it's not just about the gimmick, it's really how you tell that story. And the
Yeah.
same with the editing.
Absolutely, 100%. For sure. Xavier, I have a question. Now, I think you understand the room pretty well. You understand that a lot of people here are editors, they're from a film background, or even if they're just artists in general. If they want to get started with content creation, if maybe they've tried it, maybe they haven't, do you have any advice for them? How would you recommend they go about navigating that journey if they're starting out?
There's many.
Nice.
First, I think a big thing that stops us from starting something that is new and different is because we are afraid of what the community that we belong to or the people around us are going to say about it. And this happened to me when I started Magic Online. No one was doing Magic Online, and I mean, very few people. And most magicians would say, oh, this is not the way to do magic, you know? And then I did my own way of doing magic without like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I went on a platform where I had no followers, and I built that follower from zero. And now I discovered that yes, there could be a way of performing what I was doing for social media in a different way. So that's the first thing that I discovered, is like, don't be afraid. Like, just if you have something to say, just do it. Then you've gotta do it and do it and do it. It's just like, just do it. Don't even think about it. It's just do it. Like, publish 10 videos and maybe they're not gonna work, and you publish 10 more videos and maybe they're not gonna work, and you publish 10 more, and maybe one is going to kind of work, and you're going to see where you can go and how you have to like in which direction you have to go with your work. And the more you're gonna publish, can take years, you know, before you understand how to how to present your work. So that's the second one. And analyze. I mean, there's lots of tools on social media right now that shows you how to analyze and where people are receptive to your video. Like on YouTube, it's very, very, very evident, like how the curve, what people want to watch, you know, when they clearly leave when your video is not interesting, you know. So you can see it on the curve, and you're like, oh, that part, that people don't like it. When I say this, people don't like it. When I do this, people don't like it. So okay, when I edit this way, people don't like it. So why would I keep it in my video for the next one? So you shrink, and the more you analyze, and the beginning, how to keep people attracted to, how do you start a video? If you start by speaking, or if you start by with a logo or something, people really like, they might not be very, you know, inclined to follow. But if you start by saying, today I'm going to show you how to do this, and boom, now, okay, you've said it, the stakes are high, what am I going to do? So that's more like a way to do it. And in my case, as a magician, I'm just starting with a magic trick and saying, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see insane magic in this video. So now I got you, boom, boom, boom. You're going to watch my my video, and keep it up, keep it up, keep it up until the end, where, you know, you just, at the end, same thing. You know, I used to like have long endings saying, hey, thank you so much for watching, blah, blah, blah. And you just, they don't, I mean, no one wants to watch that, you know. It's like not
Yeah.
interesting, really. Like, just subscribe, thanks, bye.
Yes. Absolutely. I also want to just quickly, as you're talking about, you know, creating content that works or building content for people, most of you here have such an advantage if your work already has to do with film or editing or, you know, anything to do with some form of content production already, because you have something to work with. It is incredible. It's not one of those things where you'd have to go out of your way to start creating something from scratch specifically for social media. You are already working on stuff. You do already edit. You might as well put it out there. You might as well try to combine those two together and try to reap the rewards that come from it. So that's very, very important. If the two can go hand in hand, because then it's not a distraction anymore. It's really just you maximizing your opportunity. So that's huge. Xavier, you mentioned that you initially found virality on TikTok. You said Instagram. I know you have lots of success on Facebook, and recently been growing really fast on YouTube. I wanted to focus specifically on YouTube because, especially when it comes to film and stuff, YouTube tends to be the go-to platform to showcase your work. How has your experience been with YouTube? Do you have any thoughts on that as a platform?
I love YouTube. It's an amazing platform, and I mean, unfortunately, today what works on YouTube is not no more the. I mean, it works, still works, the horizontal video, but more like the short video that gets a lot of traction.
Yes.
So it's a little less like the movie type of stuff that we're used to. But YouTube is amazing. It's a clean platform, and the tools to, like, the tools to grow and analyze your work are very clear on YouTube. Like, go in the creator studio and you have everything. It's simple. If you understand the tools, you cannot miss. You cannot like have a video that's not gonna work, because if you know how to read all these graphs that they have in the back, you're gonna know who is your audience, when they want to watch, what they want to watch, what they don't want to watch, and now you understand your audience and who you want to reach, and you can't miss that, you know.
Absolutely. No, 100%. I think I'd seen one or two questions in the chat as well that I might pose to you. But before that, I wanted to quickly say, for a lot of you here, it might not seem, oh, I see another question that just showed up here. Xavier, you might want to think about that in the meantime. What's your favorite movie that has to do with magic? Maybe think about it, unless you already have an answer. Uh,
The Prestige.
Amazing, of course. I love that movie. It's so good.
It's a movie that is based on real tricks. Actually, all the tricks that are in the movie are based on like history.
Wow.
It's very good research they made on that, and I love the characters, everything. It's an amazing movie. Yeah.
Nice. Mine's Now You See Me. Because I can't get
Oh
over
yeah.
when the movie started, you know, the opening scene where they played a trick on the audience, on everyone that's watching the movie. I think that was just
Yeah.
genius and it worked. Absolutely incredible. How about you, Luca? Do
This-
you have one? Let us know. I wanted to quickly say that for a lot of you guys, maybe it's not as relatable to hear a lot about magic, because obviously now today when you set out to create your, you know, your YouTube channels or that kind of thing, you're not going to be doing amazing tricks like Xavier. But you do have an art, you do have a skill, and luckily we do have someone here that understands you better than anyone else, and that person is Sven, aka This Guy Edits. Sven, I want to quickly ask you to chime in a little bit and talk about. I mean, we'll get to it in a second, but do you have any thoughts on this overall? Anything more, having heard Xavier's side, you know, his experience with YouTube? How do you feel an editor or a filmmaker can bridge that gap and connect to content creation?
Well, I feel some confirmation of sort of some of the thoughts that I have about YouTube as well. I mean, I have a tenth of the subscribers that you have. I have close to 500,000, but I feel like it's very predictable the type of content I can make and figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Like virality for me doesn't really play a big part in the sense of like viral sounds to me like you're winning the lottery. Like something happens and it just goes big. It's more like how can I predictably create consistent views with the type of content that I'm interested in and sort of match that up like what I'm interested in, what I'm passionate about with finding an audience and connecting to it. And yeah, I mean, I have a few questions for you, Xavier, in terms of how you do it on a day-to-day basis. Like, do you feel it's important to post every day? How often do you post? Or do you let like inspiration guide you how you create your content alone?
I do mostly inspiration driven. I'm not gonna try to force things because usually when you do that, you kind of miss a lot. I'd rather have like a strong video once a month than 10 not strong video 10 times a month. I put a lot of work and energy into like little details that's gonna make the video good. But you're right, connecting with the audience is the most important. You don't need to get viral for that, but the word viral is like maybe used in a way that is not supposed to be. Like when I say viral, it's like it's going to touch as many people as possible. Yeah. And we all have a niche. Like if you do green screen editing course classes, like of course you're going to touch a small niche because this is a small group of people who wants to watch that. Now I do magic, so it's a big niche because a lot of people want to see magic. So you don't need to have millions and billions of views for that. As long as people are interested and engaged in your content, this is how you're gonna hit the jackpot and hit the lottery. And you could have videos with hundreds of thousands. You could have the same video, the same title, and the same concept or whatever content that hits 100K or 10 views, 100 views. So yeah, that's more like the idea.
Yeah, sort of the broader appeal to the audience. And I mean, I had some success with doing some Christopher Nolan videos on editing that then immediately go into the millions of views. And since you mentioned the Prestige, I haven't really looked at that yet in terms of the editing. Maybe that is a little collaboration we can throw in there where you say like it's based on real magic, like real magic tricks. I think that'd be really cool to look at that and then see how did they cut those scenes where they make these tricks happen. That'd be very exciting to me. But regardless, you think about it. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I remember that Mr. Beats said it's much easier to make a video that gets over, I don't know, 10, 50 million views than get one that makes 50,000 views. Do you agree with that statement? Like once you sort of figured out what's the big idea, it's actually quite easy to connect with the audience?
Yeah, exactly. I believe, like I said, I believe being viral is not the lottery. It's a job. It's like you know what your audience wants to see, and again, it depends on the niche. Like Mr. Beast will always have more views than someone like me, for example, because Mr. Beast appealed to even broader audience. He's doing games and challenges and stuff, and this is like for everyone. It's basically everyone in the world wants to see that. It's like comparing the Wheel of Fortune and I don't know, like a horror movie, So yeah. Now the idea is to, in your own niche, to get as many people as you can. And yes, once you understand the thing, and I'm sure this is like people in the next 5 or 10 years, people are going to understand more and more how to like use this algorithm at their to spread their content. and it's gonna get like, oh yeah, that's how it works. It's like now how to build a movie. We have schools that teach that, and tomorrow we'll have schools that teach, yes, this is how to have a viral video.
Would you have any advice for people starting out that is like, okay, start with a big idea? How can they, like, other than, okay, they got to try, they got to do a lot of videos, and they'll learn, they'll get feedback. But for somebody to, like, okay, I have this very specific niche. Let's say I'm into jazz playing, like an instrument or so. Now you could make a very like niche video about it, a tutorial, or you could make it big. Is there any advice that you might have for people to start thinking big as they get started on their channel idea?
Well, it depends on what you wanna do. If you have like a big idea, like you talk about jazz, and there's this kid, I forgot his name, Jacob Collier, I think. He started to like just sing a cappella jazz songs, and he had like 4 of himself like put together on a little video, and it was amazing, and it went super viral. And jazz is not viral; it's like a thing that's from the past, and this guy with something that was not very popular made viral videos, and he's an amazing artist. And if you have an idea, if you have something that you love about jazz, let's say, that you've never seen before, just try it out, and do it. Start small, start to like try to see, oh, what if I did it this way? What if I do it this way? How can I get my audience more engaged in what I believe? If you really love something, like I remember when I started to do my videos, I had this idea of this guy going in the streets, and he's like Harry Potter, but it's filmed like a hidden camera or something like that, and he's just doing magic without looking at the camera. And I was like, this is what excites me about magic, but I've never seen it, and I had no idea how to make it, So one day I went to Starbucks and I made things float with a friend filming me like in the corner. And people were like, what? And that video went viral. And I was like, oh, okay, so that what excites me actually can excite people, because I share my passion, basically. So what excites you in the field that you're working on, and how can you put it together for a video on social media?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that passion is very, very important, just as fuel, and also as something that you relate to the audience, where they can feel it and then connect with you because they share with that. I have one last question, and then maybe, Aaron, we do take a couple of questions from the audience.
Yes.
Just sort of, how do you do your content all by yourself, or do you have a team? What does it look like behind the scenes in terms of your content creation strategy?
Yeah, I started just on my own. I started with like giving the camera to my girlfriend and just film that, please. And now that, with monetization, and this is a beautiful tool that is social media, because you can make money. This is amazing. Like, you film something and you can make money from it. That's like 10 years ago, you would say that no one would, what? You see what I mean, 15 years ago. And so now you can take your phone, film something, and make money out of it. So the good thing is I started to make money, and then I started to hire people who knew what they were doing, because I don't know everything. So I started to hire actually an editor. I have a magic consultant. I have a camera crew, someone who books the shooting, who looks for the places where we're going to shoot. So yeah, now it's like a business now.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah. We're in a very similar, we're sort of in that transition right now as well, to where the team grows, which brings Aaron to the table. Do you have any questions for us, Aaron? Otherwise, I as well.
Yeah, I think no, not questions. I mean, I do see I'm trying to summarize the questions in the chat, try and connect the dots here. I see that a lot of people are trying to ask. You mentioned, Xavier, that you have come to understand what works and what doesn't. So maybe I think people are curious what that is. And of course, I think Sven, what we want to share with them is gonna answer some of those questions. So that should be good, because it's true.
I like this
Yeah.
question by Rob in that regard. He says, what was your biggest social media mistake as you built your online presence?
The biggest mistake that I've made. I've made so many. I've done videos that went nowhere, and I spent so much money on that, and I was like, yep. I remember that video was stupid. I took I mean, it was not stupid, but I took a plush, like a fake a dog from, and I was changing it into a dog, and it was very slow and not interesting and boring. And for me, it was great. And I don't know, you never like really know. And so you publish many videos that don't work, and you never do that mistake again. You just learn. For the things that work, I can be specific. It's you have to feel it, you have to learn it. But I'm gonna say high stakes, constant engagement, and hard cuts. Those are like, okay, if I had to summarize how I would build a video, this is it: high stake, engagement, hard cut. That means you start with something. What is he gonna do? What's gonna happen? I want to see that. Okay, I relate to that. I want to see it. Whatever your niche is, like, is it a guy singing with 10 voices, or I'm gonna jump rope in the air at 50 feet? Something strong at the beginning. Engagement is like, okay, you have beats in your videos, like boom, 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 boom. You have to talk about things that are gonna keep your audience engaged. And when you are finished doing or saying what you want to say or do, you just cut. This is the way I do things, and this is the way I've been viral. You cut the video before people leave, actually.
Oh, that's interesting. I should try that. Roberta has an interesting question. Did you ever come to a point where you felt like quitting? What gave you the confidence to keep going? I guess and relate to your career as well as social media.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say it's every day. Actually, every day I'm waking, because when you do that, every day you wake up and you're the only one who builds this world in front of you. So every day I'm like, why am I doing that? Should I keep doing it, or should I just like have a regular job? Or because it would be much easier for me. And I'm like, yeah, no, I want to fight. So sometimes you feel like you want to keep fighting, and sometimes you're like, maybe I should take the day off. But quitting, I mean, even if I wanted to quit so many times, I don't think it's a good idea. And I came to think that after so many down, because you go up and down and you go up and down, but every time that you go down, you will go up a little higher than you went just before, which means the overall thing goes up. And when you're done, you're like, I'm done. But no, you're going to go up even higher the next time. So quitting is not a good idea.
Yeah, I usually with every project I have this point where I'm like, is this even worth it? And at that point I just keep telling myself, screw it, I'm just gonna do it anyway. Like, I'm not gonna question this right now, I'm just gonna finish. And that usually helps then to just not questioning it while you're in the process of making it. Very cool. Aaron, do you have any questions? Otherwise I can keep going here.
No, I mean, we have, questions for sure. I saw there's one or two cool ones here, but I wanted to ask before that, there's anything, would you like to perhaps give people a little preview of what we're talking about first? And then we can always, I think there's one or two questions we could return to. What do you have in mind?
Definitely. I mean, we want to talk to the audience about a new course that we're launching about content creation. And we can talk a little bit more about, I want to make sure we spend the time valuable with Xavier right now, because I know you have our heart out.
That is true.
But we definitely want to tie this back. I took some notes about what you said, and I want to talk about it afterwards in terms of how this might reflect and how we can potentially help you overcome some of those challenges.
There's regarding questions, the one that there's two that I saw that I really liked. One of them was Xavier about, I think this is kind of like the previous question a little bit, maybe about failure, but have you had has there been like a downtime in your career or in your content creation journey? And what really has kept you going? Has it always just been sunshine and rainbows, or have there been difficult moments there? What helps you overcome and keep going? Um,
Yeah, there's definitely constant questioning and constant like downtimes, because let's say I publish 3 videos that are extremely successful and I make good money and I'm very happy with what I do, and the next video is awful and it's going to tank, and I'm like, where am I going? And now you have so much pressure and you're like, okay, the next video, I want to make it work. So you build that again and you make it or you don't. And if you have 2 or 3, and then you're like, and you go down. And social media is changing a lot the algorithm. Like, for example, TikTok has changed recently from we want 15 seconds and now we want 1 minute, and now we're not going to pay under 1 minute and we're going to pay only over 1 minute, but you can't use music. You're like, okay, so you have to change your game, like the whole thing, you know. And so always there's downtime, but downtime. But the strength of the people who can adapt are the guys who are going to the people who are going to adapt are going to be the people who are going to succeed. You know, because you have to question yourself again. And they changed that. Facebook has changed their algorithms so many times. And in the end, you're like, okay, so this is the way I can do it. Oh, you want reels now? You want 30 seconds videos, and you told me to do 3 minutes videos like a month ago. So
Absolutely.
yeah, just adapt and keep working, keep getting informed on what you do, and this is the way you're going to succeed.
Absolutely.
I like this question here from Adam. He's trying to nail you down. He says, what are the exact elements that you have discovered that have made people want to keep watching your videos? So, I mean, I have a take on this as well, but are there some specific things that you do that you know will keep the audience be more engaged?
Yeah, as I said, there's high stakes and constant engagement with the beats and hard cut. These are the 3 things that I go by when I publish a video that tells me, that people are going to see. But in my specific thing, when I do the magic, for example, if I start by, let's say there's a situation, this is what I discovered, there's a situation and magicians arrive and take something from someone who's like sitting on a bench, or now we have an action, we have someone who's taking something from someone, what is he going to do? So that's my high stake beginning, and I've used that many times on my content, and every time I use that, it goes viral. So and then what do I do with that? Well, I'm trying to make a magic trick that is as interesting as possible, and then at the end of the magic trick I just cut. And sometimes, like, we know that a few years ago David Blaine came up with like, we're gonna film the audience reacting, and even if we have the reactions of the people, I cut it because people have seen the magic, they have understood what you had to say. This is it. No matter how the reaction of the person is, you cut. And I did that test on a video that I published recently, where the girl was resting. She was so good at reacting at the magic that I wanted to extend the reaction. I posted the video twice. That's another thing that you should do on YouTube, the A/B tests. I posted the video twice. And on the second video, I left like 5 seconds more of the reaction. And the curve went like this, like one went flat and the other one went up, and the one that went up was without the reaction. So yeah, that's another good tool on social media. Like, if you have an edit of a video of something that you want to do, maybe publish 3 or 4 versions. And YouTube also is big on thumbnails, which is not the case on TikTok and other platforms, but thumbnails are so important on YouTube. This is a make or break for a video. So I changed a thumbnail of a video that is 3 years ago yesterday, and I got 3% more click-through rate. I don't know if you know that term.
Yes.
The click-through, like how many people want to watch, and I had 3% more. And my video had an average, after 3 years, it was dying. It had an average of like 3,000 views per day, and now it's like at 4.5 thousand. You know, so just because you change the thumbnail.
Do you want to share what kind of click-through rates you get on your videos?
Yeah, it goes from the bad ones are like 6 or 7, and I have good ones that went up to 20.
Wow, that's crazy. That is amazing. Yeah, very good. And so if you do A/B testing of videos, it doesn't affect the algorithm at all when it feels like it's the same
I
video.
No, I thought it would. It might if you don't do it at the same time. Like, let's say you published a video and it doesn't work, and you're like, I should have edited this a different way, And that is bad because now your audience has watched it. However, if you think ahead and you're like, oh, I've got a question. Would that work better than the other one? Now, like, publish both of them and see the algorithm in like 5 minutes, you can see it. You feel it. I mean, now I've published hundreds of videos. I feel it. Like after 5 years, I'm like, that video is going to tank. That video is going to do good. And I published a video recently that I pulled because it was not doing good. And I went back to my editing thing right away. I was like, no, this is not how I know how to start it now. So I did it again and I deleted the first video because the second version that I made worked much better. Yeah,
That's
that
that's groundbreaking. So you post those videos at the same time, or you post one
yes,
and then
yes,
you wait
YouTube.
5 minutes?
Yeah, the algorithm, the social media platform. There's billions of people on those platforms, so they will send it to different people all the time. Let's say there's like 1% chances that the same people are gonna watch the video that they watched again.
Yeah.
And well, it's gonna take down a little bit your watch time or your click through because they say, "Oh, I've watched that," but not much. And honestly, it goes like 2 videos. They go like this, and they have their own life, and you can compare, and it's really good. A/B testing is a tool that actually YouTube and Facebook have in place already. No one really knows about it, but you can do A/B testing already.
Yeah, I heard
But
about
I do it manually. I do it myself. I don't go through the platform. I just publish 2 videos and I keep watching. I keep refreshing the first, like, let's say, okay, I give it 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes, I say this is A or B, and this is it.
That's very, very cool. Yeah, we got a little nerdy there about the algorithm there for a second. So yeah, thank you so much, Aaron. I'm gonna leave it up to you
Perfect.
to say goodbye to Xavier, but I really appreciate you taking the time and coming on today and sharing this with us. And I'm gonna reflect on it in just a second.
Everyone, actually, let's give a huge round of applause to Xavier. He's has a show tomorrow. I think he was rehearsing today, and he's just made time to
We are
come in here
rehearsing
and
now.
share his thoughts.
Yes.
You are rehearsing now. There we go. Perfect. We're gonna let you go. Thank you so much, Xavier. It's been very inspirational. I mean, I'm inspired every time I speak to you. I could hear you speak 10 more times. It'd still be amazing.
That's cool.
Thank you so much. And yeah, exactly. I mean, we're gonna talk about this a little more, but you're free, Xavier. We're gonna let you go and rehearse. And all the best with your show. And I think you have a lot more people here that are gonna check out your channel and start watching your videos now. So yeah.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, follow. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a good day or night wherever you are in the world.
Perfect.
That's
Thank
good.
you, Xavier.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. All right. Good. Well, this was exciting. It's very interesting to hear him talk about it. I gotta say, his click-through rate, 20%. I have maybe one video that has this kind of click-through rate. So definitely motivated me to, I need to work harder on this.
Yes and no, right, Sven? Because at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to put out a thumbnail that involves you levitating 50 feet in the air. So I think you just have to accept that you're in a different business here.
That is true. But I mean, what he's talking about is like a primal trigger, right? It's like the bigger the idea is, the more likely it's going to be that people are going to respond to this. And in a way, that's kind of what I want to talk to you about as well. Oh, I just lost you there, Aaron, for a second. Is that's one of the elements that you can really work on when you know about it. It comes down to really classic storytelling, and that's something that I sort of discovered. I mean, I'm classically trained as a filmmaker. I cut a bunch of films, and so I started applying some of these concepts that we use in filmmaking to YouTube, and I sort of had instant feedback, and I really love that, because when you cut a movie, it might take you 6 months, it might take you a year before you really know whether this idea, the story that you're telling, is actually working in front of an audience. And with YouTube, it is instant. It's like if you make a video every week, you have that feedback loop instantly and can immediately improve. And this is what Xavier also pointed out at the beginning. You said, like, make 10 videos and none of them might work. Make another 10 videos and then one of them might work, and you're starting to understand really what is working. And the other thing that he said is, it's like the algorithm is people. And we hear that often, but not in this simple form. It's like, just replace algorithm with people, and don't even try to hack the algorithm. You're just taking it as a tool to understand how people react to your content. And if they're not watching it, then they might not be interested. They might be frustrated. They might be confused about what it is. But
I've spent so much, I've spent so much time trying to explain to people how all of this does not come down to luck. Like almost everything is data driven. Almost everything involves. I love when they were talking about the A/B testing and the comparisons. I think most of y'all have heard of Mr. Beast, who we mentioned earlier. He was doing this thing for a long time where every video had him doing this big smile on the thumbnail. Like no matter what the video was about, he had this big smile on it. And as soon as YouTube drops this A/B test feature, he starts testing thumbnails where he actually has his mouth closed. And he finds that makes an incremental difference. That made a huge change. Now, every single thumbnail, he's not smiling anymore. What I'm trying to say is, on the surface, you see, wow, 200 million views. But there's just so many little things that you, if you dive deep enough, can tweak and change and modify to set yourself up for success. And I know it sounds overwhelming, but you don't really have to go all in. You can take it one step at a time. There's often the concept of getting 1% better every day or with every video you make. Tweak
yeah,
one thing. You don't want to do the same thing 10 times and expect different results. That's the
yeah,
definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. The key is to change something. You don't just go, this was background was red. Let me try yellow this time. See, that's just you're just trying. You're throwing spaghetti at the wall, which sometimes works, but for the most part, if you want to achieve success faster, you go, oh, yellow didn't work. This is why it might have not worked. This is why red is probably a good choice this time. You see, it's just about making calculated decisions time and time again, and it really works. Um, Absolutely. Sorry, Sven, I cut you off earlier.
yeah. No, I was just going to say, and the one thing that I want to really emphasize is, this is not where it starts. Like, you're not starting with the thumbnail or the video title. It starts with your passion, and you really have to like
Absolutely.
you build a foundation where you're like, what do I deeply care about, and what are the stories that I want to tell, that I really, really know I know something about, or really I'm passionate to find out more about it. And then the audience that's interested in that same topic, they're going to be with you, whether it's a journey where you're just trying to learn, they want to learn with you, or whether you're already an expert in some sense. Like, expert means you know a little bit more than your audience, or you're willing to do a little bit more research for them so that you can provide that value to them. But they're basically inherently as passionate about what you're passionate about. And if you get that part right, if you get the passion right, then everything else is kind of gravy, and its potential to grow even more. Sometimes people start because they think, oh, I want to be like this YouTuber. I want to be like Peter McKinnon or Mr. Beast. So I'm going to do the same thing. Like, I'm going to eat 20 pizzas and give money away to homeless people while I'm doing it, because that's what maybe Mr. Beast did one time. And they're wondering why it doesn't work. It's because it's not inherently what they deeply care about. And what you deeply care about is what makes you unique and interesting. And the audience feels that regardless of whether you're very skilled, you have the best equipment, or whatever it is, they're willing to, like, when I started my YouTube channel, I mean, you see the first couple of videos, they got awful. I was using my phone. I didn't have a mic like this, so it sounded really roomy. And it was just the beginning, but I cared about what I was doing at the time, and it grew over time. And so this is kind of where we're want to help you, first of all, realize how important YouTube is for filmmakers, for editors, and to not just consume it, but to be actively creating things to help you build your craft and figure out how to connect with an audience. Because if you don't have that skill to connect with an audience, it's going to be harder for you to make films. It's going to be harder for you to learn how to connect with an audience if you just do films, because it just takes so long to do it. Like I remember in film school, it took us 3 to 6 months to do a short, and then we didn't really get much feedback because it was all kind of within the film school. It didn't go out until the final finished film that was gone for a festival. So you're missing out on the audience for 2-3 years when you're going to film school. While if you start your YouTube channel tomorrow, you're going to have that feedback the moment you post a video. And so we started this. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
No, I mean, there's thoughts I want to add, but I think it'd be best if maybe we show them before we talk about it anymore. I think that'd be the best way.
All right. I'm going to share the trailer for this new course that we're launching. And I have to say, we recently were in a meeting with a really big company who is about to also launch this course and getting into the business. And they bought this course in the room. Basically, I told them this course is about me showing how I start a brand new channel with 0 subscribers and 12 videos, and I grow it to 30,000 subscribers, over 3 million views, and made $50,000 in revenue. So this was my pitch to the founder of this, one of the biggest companies that you'll ever know, and he bought it in the room and said, "I want to do this course." Okay, so here's the trailer. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, hopefully you're gonna hear me as well. Here we go.
Okay.
A lot of people starting out fail on YouTube because they don't make videos that connect with an audience. Now, there are only 2 reasons why that is. People are not interested in what you have to say, or people are not interested in how you say it. It's the what and the how. And to be honest, there's only one reason: the how. If you know how to tell a story, you can make that story about anything you like and people will watch it. If I had known from the start that YouTube is just like a TV show or a movie, it probably would have saved me a couple of years in my journey as a YouTuber. My name is Sven Pape, and for the past 20 years, I've worked as a professional film editor, cutting for James Cameron, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Sundance filmmaker Mark Webber. But I've also been a YouTuber for 6 years with over 450,000 subscribers. I make videos about creative editing and storytelling, with many of them reaching anywhere between 100,000 and 11 million views. But was I just lucky? No. I figured out the hard way how to adapt classic film storytelling concepts to make them work on YouTube. And what I learned is repeatable. How do I know? I recently started a brand new channel with 0 subscribers about something completely different. And with only 12 videos, I was able to get over 3.8 million views, close to 30,000 subscribers, and $45,000 in revenue. This is why I'm here. I want to teach you how to find and engage your audience so that your content, whatever it is, actually connects. You will learn how to identify your passion and use that to create your channel and content strategy. How to apply dramatic narrative concepts to create engaging long-form content and tell stories dramatically so the audience keeps watching to find out what happens next. How to structure videos through creative and effective editing. And finally, how to experiment with the thumbnail and title to actually trigger the YouTube algorithm. This class is for you if you are a beginner or intermediate content creator. It's for you if you need to figure out what your channel should be about and how to consistently create content that works. With that in mind, I hope you take a closer look at my course and enroll, because if you do, you'll never make another uninteresting video again. Happy editing. Cheers.
Very cool.
All right, there you go. So this course will be available soon on a platform that is most likely on your phone right now, and you don't even know what's going to happen. But this course we've been working on this since the NAS. That's how we started. Actually, NAS originally shot this course with me. They flew a camera team from Dubai down, and then we were fortunate to actually keep it for ourselves. And so this will become available, but we're gonna have a pre-launch today where we're gonna make this course available on our original platform, Thinkific, where we have the Go-To-Editor course and editing fundamentals. And we're gonna give you a coupon today, thanks to Xavier. The code is magic, and it's gonna give you $100 off. So if you take this link, thisguyedits.com/magic. Sorry, the link is thisguyedits.com/start. thisguyedits.com/start, and use the coupon code magic. All right, maybe you want to put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, I think I need to hyperlink it. One sec. No, but I just want to add, like, throughout, I think one thing I want to say here is, guys, regardless of the course, like, for a second, set the course aside. Content creation, I'm going to go out and say, is something that I believe you should 100% be doing, right? So that is something that you should be doing regardless, because there's really not a lot of downsides to it. You don't have to go all in, you don't have to put all your time into it. The minimum is very little. And there's just really benefits to be gained by doing it. It's like you said, from a film editor's point of view, it's getting feedback on your work. And this is relatable to me as well, what you were saying, Sven, because, guys, my background is actually in video game development, which is another creative subject. And a lot of video game developers do these things. They do devlogs, where instead of working on a game for 2 years, launching it, and then nobody wants to play it, you start talking about the idea, you test the water, you go show people an update, you get feedback. Next thing you know, you've got a whole community around this thing that you're working on, and people rooting for you, and helping and celebrating when you actually get it out. So that's something worth looking into. Apart from that, if you're looking for job opportunities, again, I like what Xavier mentioned to me recently. He said that he's very humble, by the way, guys, for someone with as many followers as he does. But he said he isn't even the best at what he does. He said, it's not like I have the best magic act out there, but I have social media followers now. And as a result, when the time comes for opportunities, people find him. Right? Right now, he's in Dubai. He's basically doing magic on the other end of the planet because people know who he is. There could have been a lot of other people that have worked just as hard, but unfortunately, they haven't put themselves out there. They haven't showcased that talent. So that's another thing that, YouTube can help you do. So take my advice, regardless of the course. Now, the reason the course is helpful is because you know how Xavier said it took him years to figure out what he's doing? And you know how Sven took years to figure out what he's doing? The benefit there is you're going to download that information from someone that's already figured it out for you, right? And also, Sven is actually in this industry, so it's going to be nice for you to understand YouTube from someone that understands your industry. So that is really important. But apart from that, the actual getting started with content creation, I think everyone in this room should do. The best time to start was yesterday, but today is not so bad either. Okay. Um, Go ahead, Sven.
Yeah, I was gonna just sort of talk a little bit about the different modules. So there's like 6 different modules, and it really starts with passion and it ends with the algorithm. So everything in between, and it's heavily on storytelling. So what are the core narrative concepts that we apply and that we learn from filmmaking? We look at several movies, and then we look at several YouTube videos, like a Casey Neistat video is in there, to see how he mirrors some of those primal triggers that he uses all the time in terms of just making us want to watch about it. And he is a filmmaker, and I think it's a huge asset that we all have as editors and filmmakers, is that we can bring to the table. A lot of YouTubers, they come with a passion, and that's super important, but then they have to learn the craft. You kind of come with a craft, and you just got to like be really, really focused on what is that thing that you deeply care about. in order to tell the stories that you want to tell and connect with an audience. And as I was saying in the trailer, it's about the how. Like, it's not so much about what the story is, it can be about anything almost. It's about how you tell that story, like the hook, how you get into it. Xavier was talking about this, like the stakes at the beginning that make people want to find out. I call it the dramatic question: will something happen? Like, he's asking an interesting question at the beginning of the video, and then he's going to reveal whether this works or not. And so once we get into that, once we sort of cover all the narrative concepts that we have, what are the primary triggers that we're interested in, and then we go into the editing and really show how we not just have a person talking, but show B-roll to visualize something in a way that it highly engages the audience. And I just changed the link one more time here, and I'm sharing this right now. And then finally, we end on the algorithm, and testing is something that's really, really important. I test every video, and it used to be pretty easy to figure out within 9 views whether the algorithm is triggered or not. So I'll show you this process as well. I'll definitely will consider some of the Xavier things where he publishes 2 videos at the same time. I think that's brilliant to do. So that is a sort of next level on there. But telling the right story, being super passionate about what you're telling the story about, editing it right so that you're not wasting the time of the audience. It's very, very much entertainment driven, dramatically, narratively, and then testing it. The content as well as the thumbnail and the video title. Changing the video title can make a difference between 10,000 views and 100,000 views for me. So yeah, that's kind of what we want to offer. Check this out. It'll be available for pretty much only for a while. It's a pre-launch, and then it's going to go away. And then we'll probably come back in January or February on your phone, already pre-installed app of one of the big players, hopefully. All right, cool. Thank you so much for your time. Should we take a couple more questions?
Absolutely.
Good. If you could feed them to me. For some reason, I lost my chat. Oh, yeah.
I still have access, but any more questions, guys? Please drop it in the chat now. Any thoughts? Nothing too specific, but in general, anything around YouTube, content creation, how you can get started. Um, just let us know. We can share our thoughts on it as well. See, I want to just focus on the fact that I think I've said this a few times already, that it's not luck. There's a lot of it is controllable. There's a lot that it's sad because now these days I every time I see a YouTube channel, I think within 10 seconds there's at least 10 things I'd tell someone to change. Just it doesn't even take 10 seconds to identify now. But it's because they haven't had that exposure. It's because they're only looking at themselves and not around them. It's because they haven't been doing this long enough. They don't really necessarily see it. But once you get past that initial barrier, once you learn the art of, I like to call it smart experimentation, right? And the smart experimentation is when something works, try it again. And if it doesn't work, try something else. Right? And this doesn't mean the whole idea, it can mean a specific aspect of what you're doing. And once you develop that trait, I'm telling you, success is just, it's not a question of if, it just becomes a question of when you're going to get there. But at least you know you're moving in that direction. Okay, will the price of the course be the same on the big platform, Joe?
We
Yes,
don't
it
really
might be
know.
higher.
That's
Yes,
not
right.
up to us, so we don't really know.
We're not very sure when, first of all, that's gonna be ready. It's hard to say, Joe. It is pretty hard. Right now, we know that the price of the course in the meantime is, whatever we've set it to, and then we're discounting it, for this pre-launch phase. So, yeah. Does the question from Siori, does the success of the channel depend on nationality and language used? Interesting. Not necessarily. I'm working, so it really depends, right? And that's the answer to most questions. It depends on what you mean. If you're gonna make a video about, so first of all, you can find success in every niche, every nation, every country, every geography, every language, provided there is interest. It's like, um, if you live in a neighborhood where nobody likes cookies and you open a cookie store, it's not going to work. It's as simple as that, right? Or if you open, I don't know, if you sell pizza in a town that has never eaten it before and for some reason doesn't like it, that would be a weird town, but still, you know what I mean. It's that kind of thing. I've worked with this Indian content creator who has 25 million subscribers, I mean, followers across platforms. His videos aren't in English, they're actually in his local language, and he is growing at a rapid pace. He's picked his audience, he's picked the, market that he wants to target, and there is a lot of potential there. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. Sometimes it's easier to actually not compete in English because there's so many people trying to do that. So if you find a lot of demand in a local language or in a region, then you should definitely explore. The benefit with English is you're casting a wider net, you're catering to the entire planet, but then obviously it's going to be a little slower because there's a lot of people doing the exact same thing. Sven, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think English is obviously helping my channel, but at the same time, there are huge channels in Germany doing phenomenal. There's a huge, to be honest, actually, probably 25% of my audience comes from India. So just subtitling makes a huge difference for me as well. And India is a huge up and coming market. Indonesia is going to be huge in the next 5 to 10 years. It'll be like the fifth largest economy. And in terms of the audience, it's a huge opportunity over there. So wherever you are, I think there's always potential and possibility. Will it be a little less monetized in some countries right now? Yes, but as the economies grow, um, it'll get better. But also at the same time, if you are living in certain countries, your standard of living will be relatively different to what it is here in America. So it kind of evens itself out. I think again,
Yeah.
it comes down, it not like what's smart marketing or what's it's like what can you bring to the table that is authentically you, that you deeply care about, and then the audience will connect with you because they want to be part of that community. I mean, way in the
Yeah.
days, we were talking about like tribes that exist everywhere, and they're sort of just looking for their tribe leader. And the opportunity is you can become a tribe leader just by the sense of you making content and are willing to do kind of the research and communicating it, sharing it. You're providing value in a sense. Often that value is not just a tutorial, that value is often identity. Like identity is so important when it comes to social media. We consume content because we feel like we're part of a community. Like I'm obsessed with solar. So I made a channel about solar, and I find the people that are just as obsessed about solar than I am. And I knew nothing when I started, and I kind of became more and more educated about it by just making videos.
Absolutely, that's a very good point. You don't have to be an expert. There's actually two kinds of channels that do really well. One where you are the expert and you're teaching everybody, and the other where you know nothing yourself and you're learning along with everybody. And people love to see that. But in that case, you have to compensate for the lack of expertise with that desire and passion and excitement. So then people actually, it's just your enthusiasm about the subject that keeps people coming back. I also want to say, whenever the question, there's a lot of times we've been asked, is this good? Or should I do this? Will this work? The word work or good or better, it really depends on what your goal is. You could start a channel today with the goal of reaching as many people as possible. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe you edit, short films and you want to reach as many people as possible. Then obviously your decisions are going to be very different from if you just wanted, I don't know, brand deals of a specific kind, or if you just wanted to generate revenue because there are channels out there with, I can tell you, tens of millions of subscribers, and there are some out there with maybe 50,000 that are making more than the ones with 10 to 15 million subscribers. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. Language, again, it depends. There's some audiences that have more purchasing power. Let's say maybe your end goal is to sell t-shirts. Maybe you have a business. Maybe you're trying to just get a job, in which case you don't really care about how much you make from YouTube. You just want to get as many eyeballs on the channel as possible. So you're going to cater to as many people as possible. There's a lot. It's again, I mean, Sven covers it in the course. All you need to keep in mind is you need to know why you're doing it. And as long as you know, and you need to enjoy doing it. I think those are two things. You need to know why, and you need to enjoy doing it. And the rest is just smart experimentation every single day.
Yeah, the rest is the how. And if you get the how right, then you often have an edge right away. Even in, let's say there's a lot of people that are interested in the same thing and they're doing YouTube, because they're not filmmakers, they're not editors, they're not really, they don't have the tools, or they're using the tools for the first time and they don't quite understand yet the importance of what is a dramatic question, or B-roll. Just like using B-roll alone makes a huge difference between somebody caring about your video or not, because you visually engaging them. There's stimulation, refresh going on. And then if you understand how to use B-roll in a smart way, where it actually helps conveying the emotion or the information in a way that the audience really can absorb it and enjoy it, you're way ahead. So knowing the passion and the how to tell that story can really give you an edge, even in a in a topic that maybe other people feel like they're already doing it on YouTube. I have a direct question here from Joey saying, hey, if I guess what the platform is that your course is on, will you reveal it? Definitely not, but give it a shot. Try me and see if you can guess which one it is. I think you might not be able to tell, because they haven't even come out yet with it. Anyway, good. Any other questions we have in there? Otherwise, we can also sort of wrap it up for today. I can talk a little bit about our last session that's coming. But go ahead, ask any final questions you have. Well, I mentioned that we started Edit Rave with a huge editing challenge. And we have like 45 submissions that Misha right now is going through. And on December 7th, we're going to have a surprise guest we're going to pick a couple of scenes. We might just pick like parts of the scenes so that we can get more people some notes. But this surprise working editor, ACE, is going to give you notes on your cut. And then we're going to give away a prize. We're going to give away the monogram console. I'm going to get it right now.
Perfect.
This is the box. So this is like, I don't know, 500, 600 bucks of a creative console. There we go. That you can use to help with your editing. It does all kinds of, like, it has sliders and wheels and buttons where you can just program all kinds of things in the editing and make it much faster, much smoother. I have one of those, have been using it for more than a year. And it really is a powerful tool that is nice to have in terms of your editing process. So we're going to give away that prize. We're going to give away some prizes from our sponsors, Epidemic Sound, and from Edit Stock, and from Edit Mentor. And we're also going to give away an additional prize for whoever is the top leader on our leaderboard. If you're on the platform, you might know we have like gamification going on, and some people are really into it, and they're competing to get many points. And whoever at that moment, December 7th, is at the top, will get an additional prize. All right, cool. So that's happening December 7th, 10 a.m. PST.
Nice. There's a question, a very nice question by Lisa in the chat, that I think we definitely can address if it's cool with you, Sven. Do you have any advice for someone that might want a channel but no interest in being a YouTube star or even being featured in their videos? I mean, long answer we can get into, but I do want to say yes, first of all. 100% the short answer is yes. Yes, we have maybe advice, but also yes, this is something you can totally do. This is very normal. The YouTube stars are just the 0.1%. And it really isn't, the norm on YouTube. YouTube is like this thing that there's a lot of people that are earning their living on YouTube without being YouTube stars. You don't have to be at all. And there's a lot of faceless channels. Sven, I'm happy to hear your thoughts. But Lisa, in the meantime, could you just indicate maybe to us what kind of channel you have in mind? Like, what is your background? What is your niche? What kind of thing? Because accordingly, I think we'd be able to give you a better response. Because every niche, yes, Sven?
Sorry, I actually think that just hearing the voice of someone can actually make them connect more to an audience. Like, I've experienced this with videos on This Guy Edits, where you just hear my voice or you hear Dr. Karen Perlman when we have a conversation. part of the format of that video is that we never show our faces. It's just our voices. And it actually translates much better because it feels like it's in your mind a little bit more. Or it's the visual appeal of what we show, while we talk about pretty abstract concepts. And I have I have a small YouTube channel called Backyard Boogie, where I talk about chickens and home products, and you never see me on the channel. It's just my voice. And I'm doing like product reviews or whatever, or I'm showing how my chickens are laying eggs and how I can optimize that. And I have videos on there. I had one video that was like a collab, it started off as a This Guy Edits video, where I hired somebody to cut a video on Backyard Boogies about chicken laying optimization. And it was a guy from, I think, Afghanistan or so, who said he would do it for like $15. And the video that he cut has more views on the smaller channel than the video I made on This Guy Edits, talking about this process. And it's all just my voice and him B-roll and hiring an editor to cut it for me. And it still works because of the storytelling.
I wanted to use the example. We spoke about him a little bit, Sven. A friend of mine, he's got a YouTube channel called Dodford. What I want to say is the extreme. So there's like a whole spectrum, right? On one hand, you have your face, your voice, and you are the channel. So people come and subscribe for you. There's two situations generally. It's usually either for you or for some information. Now, it's much easier to have a faceless channel when the channel is not about you. Let's say you're an information provider. Now you can get your face out of the way, maybe just use your voice and use B-roll, use stock footage, fair use, that kind of thing, other snippets. And then there could be some cases, extreme cases, like for example, I wanted to tell you about this case. I don't know if I can actually share my screen really quick. Maybe I can.
Be able to, yeah.
These are short documentaries that he's doing on actors and the film industry and that kind of thing. And he started out speaking. So it was initially like, hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about Adam Sandler, for example. And then there'd be in and outs, there'd be, your classic video. But what he did recently, which is very interesting in this one, this is the Jim Carrey, if I'm not mistaken, is he does not speak a word. So the entire documentary is just well-researched snippets from documentaries and interviews and that kind of thing. So you're telling a story, but all you're doing is just using content that was kind of already there. So what I'm trying to tell you is you can find success even with the most extreme format. You can go years without people knowing who is behind the channel. But it's important that you just find a way to keep it engaging. So if it's not your voice, is it somebody else's? Using AI? We don't even want to get into that conversation right now because there's so much you can do with AI technology and so many ways it can help you. But to answer your question, it's 100% doable. Sven?
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think it could be about anything. It could be in any way, in the sense of there's no limitations there, but what matters is the storytelling. It comes down. Xavier said it with his magic. He's not the best magician necessarily, but he knows how to tell a story that engages an audience online, and then now he's able to then translate that into his real world as well, and getting better at it while he's doing it, working on his craft. And how many years has he been? It's been like 2-3 years, if even, right, that he's been doing this, and
Yeah.
now he's working at the highest level. And it's because
Absolutely.
of YouTube or TikTok or some of the other platforms. I really like YouTube because it's long form, and I'm really, I mean, that's the closest to filmmaking for me. Long form storytelling. Can I gauge an audience? Can I have them be watching the video? That's something that I'm really excited about. That's why I'm originally a filmmaker, is because I sat in a movie theater and I was engaged, and I wanted to be part of the process of making the audience feel something emotionally.
Absolutely. 100%. Some recommendations have been requested in the chat. So do you have any recommendations, Sven, of channels that are maybe examples of storytelling, that kind of thing? I mean,
I have to be honest. The channels that I watch is purely based on the interests that I have. So there's like this guy, I think the channel is called Sow the Land, and he's like South Carolina or some state where he has a farm. Originally, he's from California, and he has like a 7-acre farm. And every 2 days, he posts a video about, oh, now I'm going to install a rainwater system on my farm because my well is going dry, and I want to capture some of that rain. So I'm so into that kind of stuff that I really follow him religiously, and he does a good job. Like, he's gotten really good at doing sort of the daily vlog kind of thing in terms of his editing, his storytelling, and so on. But he probably, I mean, he's not gonna like become viral in the sense, but he has a very, very faithful following that he has, and he can build it. His whole farm is sustained by the YouTube channel. Like, he's just farming for himself, so he can film himself farming. He's not selling any of the products to anyone. It's all just for his family. And he's doing it because he didn't want to live in a city in California anymore. He wanted to be out in the countryside. And he found a way to find an audience that's maybe 100,000 subscribers, if even. And it's enough for him to sustain his entire family. And I'm one of the subscribers that pretty much watches every of his videos.
Nice. Also, a good thing I'd want to add is the YouTube algorithm, forget from a content creation point of view, but even from a viewer point of view, is really good. So if you find some of those channels, this is an important aspect. I mean, it's definitely mentioned in the course about taking inspiration and stuff, but you don't have to figure it all out yourself. Like, if you say today that I am starting a travel channel or a storytelling channel or a channel about cars, there's people out there that are already doing this and they're doing it well. And the easiest way for you to jumpstart your own success is to take a look at that. Just to watch and consume. You need to consume the kind of content you're creating. Just watch those kind of videos. And the good thing about the YouTube algorithm is it starts to learn what you're doing and recommend you more of that content. So if you really go all in, within a week, you can have your YouTube feed just customized so well to the kind of stuff you want to surround yourself with. And then you look at their thumbnails, you look at their titles, and you will see in seconds how different it is from what you're doing right now. And again, you don't have to make a steep jump to what they're doing, but it will give you a sense of direction and to go in. So that's definitely something you should do. I see, Sven, you've asked in the chat what are some channels you watch consistently. And Marvin's responded. Guys, there's a lot you can do. There's Faceless, now that you talk about it, there's a lot of Faceless content I've always watched, but then they've usually done animation or they've had those kind of videos where, it's just B-roll footage and then text on the screen, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It really works. I mean, audiobooks are a thing, guys. So, I mean, that's kind of channels like that do work. Anything can be content. We've watched channels where they're doing makeup while telling crime stories and people watch them. Literally anything, as long as you're passionate enough about it. And you have to test it. The best thing about starting on YouTube is when you start, there's no pressure because you're not famous, right? And that's the best part. A lot of people are like, oh, what if I do this? What if it doesn't work? So what? You know what I mean? Like, it's perfectly fine. It's just you. If people are watching you, that's amazing. If not, that's even better because it means you have time to figure all of this out before they show up. Makeup, yeah, exactly, Lisa. That is quite interesting. At one point, I didn't know why I was even watching it. I'm like, it's definitely not for the makeup. But yeah,
Do you
anything can
remember?
be content.
Do you remember the name of that channel? Because I think I've
Uh, yeah, I think so.
mentioned her in a video before, because she has so wild editing. Like, it's so meta when she cuts. Like, she cuts and there's like a black frame around her, so like she zooms out so much that you actually know that it's just a trick in the editing, and she just doesn't care, and that adds so much charm to her content. Anyway, I mean, for me personally, I'm obsessed with YouTube. I'm very much I love to have that connection with the audience, get that instant feedback. I'm always excited when the next video gets uploaded to see if it works or it doesn't. I'm bummed when it doesn't, and then I'm like, I go in and I change thumbnail and video and I try to save it. So for me personally, I watch more YouTube than television. And
Yeah.
I'm not the only one, because clearly YouTube, when you look at the numbers, I mentioned it in the email, their market share is 8.5% or so of all streaming, and Netflix is number 2, 7.4, and everybody else is less than half. So YouTube is in a position where they have a bigger audience than anybody else in the market, and you have the ability to bring programming to the platform, and that's an incredible disruption of the industry. It's like we used to grow up in a time where you needed to have a studio or distributor to get your film out, to get your story told, and that doesn't exist anymore. And not enough filmmakers are taking advantage of this, and not enough editors or cameramen or whatever department are not using social media to improve their craft or to really figure out what is it that they need to be doing to connect to an audience. It's a little bit of a guesswork when you're a filmmaker. I mean, I made the mistake. The first film that I made was a feature film right after film school, so I had to learn the hard way. What, nobody wants to see this film, or there's a very limited amount of people that want to hear the story. It would have been a much smarter way to test it on YouTube first and really figure out what's the story that people deeply care about and how do I tell it. Cool beans. Alrighty. I would say we've taken enough of your time. Thank you so much for joining us in this session. I know it's not a classical session in the sense of we get a big time editor in here, but I really like these sessions where we have a crossover, where we talk to the lead designer from Marvel or Mortimer, who's a magician, and we all kind of share in the process of how do we make art that matters to an audience. How do we connect? How do we tell stories? And it's really interesting to look at other art forms and see how that translates back to our own work. And with that, thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you so much for joining me and running the session today.
It was a pleasure.
I'm going to bring up the slide one more time here if you want to grab this while you can, because it's going to go away in, let's say, 48 hours. I'm going to send out an email, 48 hours, and then this deal is going to go away. And it really walks you through in 6 modules. I don't know how many lessons, but a bunch of lessons.
I think the most valuable aspect of the course is, again, the fact that the guy teaching it understands the industry you guys are in. I think that is the most valuable, because Xavier could teach you content creation too, but it's not going to be as relatable learning from a magician. But learning from a filmmaker,
yeah, that's kind of a good point. Sorry to interrupt. There's a lot of like YouTube education out there of people that just do YouTube education. And it's a little like having somebody like Xavier who knows what they're doing and they're living it and they're doing it and they're succeeding with it is kind of a different animal than somebody who's just solely focused on teaching you how to do it, as opposed to somebody who's doing it. And that's kind of what this guy edits as well. So back to the slide, and thank you so much. I'm gonna
thank you, everybody.
I'll play some music, and we'll see you hopefully on Thursday, 10 a.m. for our final session. Have a good one. Cheers.
Where's the music, Sven?
Sorry, it always takes me a second. Music's coming. Okay, it's happening.
We promised you music, guys. You're getting music.
There we go. Do you hear it? There we go.
Nice.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a great day.